Thank you for tuning in to the Brasel Real Estate Broadcast, where each week we will be covering today's real estate news, tips, tricks, and trends in the Kansas City real estate market. Hosted by the Brasel Real Estate Group at RE/MAX Heritage, out of Blue Springs, Missouri. And here's today's host.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Brasel Real Estate Broadcast. I'm here today with Alicia Harwood and Deb Brasel of Motto Mortgage, and I'm your host, Mark Stancil. And we're going to start the broadcast today talking about one real estate term that some people get wrong sometimes. They don't really know what it means and stuff. So this is our What the Heck segment. So we're going to talk about FHA. What does FHA mean? I just had somebody recently, they thought it meant first-time home buyer, and I got a lot of people that think that's what it means, but that's not actually what it means. So Alicia, could you clarify what it means?
Yes. So the Federal Housing Administration is what FHA means, and the National Housing Act of 1934 is what created the Federal Housing Administration, and in 1965, the FHA became part of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So there's some background on it.
Yeah, the FHA, what they are is they're a government agency, and they basically insure the loans. That way, people that wouldn't necessarily get qualified before can get qualified because the government's kind of backing that loan and adding some security for the lenders. So, and it enables millions of buyers the opportunity to buy houses when they might not have qualified before. Some of the goals of the FHA are to improve housing standards and conditions, provide an adequate home financing system through insurance of mortgage loans, and to stabilize the mortgage market. So that's just some of the facts about FHA, and that's essentially what it is. Do you have anything to add on that?
Well, I would tell you that is where most everybody that's a first-time home buyer is going to fall unless they have established really good credit. Mm-hmm. So it's very forgiving. It allows higher debt ratios. So it's really a great program for a first-time home buyer.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why everybody thinks FHA means first-time home buyer, but in reality it doesn't. How can someone who's purchased a home before still get approved for FHA financing?
That's a good point, because people say that, well, I'm not a first-time home buyer, but I'd really, I've heard about this FHA thing. It's like, that's fine. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. You can actually have bought before, but in order to utilize the first-time home buyer programs, then you have to qualify where literally the term of a first-time home buyer is you've not had a home in your name for 3 years.
Okay.
Where the deed is out of your name. So if you owned one before and now you want to go back and utilize a down payment assistance program with FHA loan, you can. So it gets a little more complicated, but I mean, first time home buyers, and also previous home buyers, you just cannot have two FHA loans at one time. Mm-hmm. Unless you're moving from out of state to the area, they'll allow it. And then the other thing is if you've outgrown your home, that's another way, like your family's outgrown it. So they will allow you then to have a second FHA home, and you could rent out the one that you're leaving.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that concludes our first segment and brings us to a great transition point to our next segment, Buyer Bites, where we're going to talk about first-time home buyer programs. All right, for our Buyer Bites segment today, we're going to talk about first-time home buyer programs. So, Deb, what are first-time home buyer programs?
They're programs that are meant for people that have never owned a home in the past 3 years, and they are programs that are going to give them a discounted rate and a discounted mortgage insurance premium, so it helps them get into a home a little easier. So that's really what they're designed for.
Yeah. What is the first-time home buyer loan? Are there specific loans that you have to have, or is it?
Yes, FHA offers first-time home buyer programs. There's different ones out there, and also conventional. So depending on if the buyer has like exceptionally good credit, good debt ratios, then I'll look at a conventional program form. They can get anywhere from 3 to 5% gift or grant, just depends on the program. And FHA will do anything from 2% to 5%.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it really helps out. But I will add, nothing's free. You think you're getting a gift and a grant, and that's awesome, but you pay for it in the rate. So I always really try hard to figure out if I can first make it work without it. You know, whether it be a gift from a family member, could be a 401k that they could pull money from. So if I can get that figured out, I mean, it can make a big difference in rates, anywhere from 1% to 2%.
Right.
I just had some buyers who bought a house and the sellers had used MHDC financing as their down payment, and they decided to sell the house a year later. And so actually on the title work, it came up that they had to pay back the majority of the MHDC money that they got. So I could see where, you know, that if you're not going to stay there for a while, you might not want to take that loan.
The thing with that is some of them are actually gifts, some of them are grants. And so a gift is something that you're not having to pay back. A grant is something that they call a soft second that they put behind your first mortgage, and that's where that comes into play. So it's real important that you understand what you're being offered, because if it does have a soft second, it's with no interest, but the caveat is if you sell before that period of time that they give you, you know, that you need to stay in it. I think it's usually 3 to 5 years. I can't remember. Somewhere in that ballpark. But if you do move before that, then you're going to pay back in the increments of, most of them are 3 years. So if you moved in the first year, then you're going to pay back 24 months of that divided into whatever that soft second was.
Okay.
Yeah, those are some of the tricky parts about the first-time home buyers. But what are some of the benefits that you can think of?
Well, I mean, it's if a person truly, they do not have the ability to get a gift from a family member, or they really don't have anywhere to pull it from, and we've exhausted all those avenues, at least it allow them to get into a home. So I can tell you that the longer you wait, the, you know, rates go up, prices go up, so the less house you get, plus the tax deductions that they're going to get. So financially speaking, it all works out, but we should examine that before we actually just go, oh, well, let's give them the higher rate if we have another way to do it. But it's a great way to get into a home if you legitimately don't have any other way to do it.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
And who is it that qualifies for first-time home buyer programs?
People that haven't owned in 3 years.
Okay.
That would be for the most of them. There are a few that are conventional first-time home buyer programs that are a little more flexible. They do have usually like an income max on them. So, you know, as a lender, we have to look at all that and say, you know, do they fit the criteria? So, and there's some counties that you don't even have to look at that, like Jackson County. That's one they don't put the income caps on. But generally speaking, somebody that hasn't owned in 3 years.
Awesome. Well, that was great. Anything else from you? Or?
Nope.
Yep.
I think I'm good on
Alrighty, that wraps up our Buyer Bites. On today's Seller Sound Off segment, we're going to talk about things that you should probably clean that you usually don't. You know, we all like to have a clean house. Well, most of us like to have clean houses, everybody that I know. I know some people that probably don't care either way, but sometimes we look over some of the things that we should clean that we don't clean because they're hidden or we just don't think about it. Out of sight, out of mind is what they say. But refrigerator coils is one of those things. So most refrigerator coils that I know of are going to be on the bottom of the refrigerator. There's a cover. So I used to have, bless his heart, a bulldog named Buster, and he was fantastic, but he shed like crazy. And one day our refrigerator was acting up a little bit, and I pulled the cover off the bottom of the refrigerator, and I found another dog under there.
Gross.
It was so hairy and covered in hair, and we just didn't even know to clean it because it was just never something that we thought about. So make sure that you're cleaning your refrigerator coils, vacuum, dust them. Just extends the life of all your appliances. And some people, when they're looking at houses, they'll pop those things off and look at them. Some people are just very picky looking at everything.
Not to mention it could be a fire hazard.
Yeah. For sure. The other thing is ceiling fans. Another thing I don't ever catch because I'm 5'4". It's way out of my line of sight. So ceiling fans are something that you're going to want to look up, check, see if the blades are carrying dust. First thing you do when you turn them on, they just kick dust all around the room. It's bad for your allergies, and it just doesn't look very good. So just get you a duster, quick swipe over the blades, and be looking good as new.
Yeah. I have a rule. I clean my ceiling fans anytime company comes over, so they're always pretty clean. Just hit with a vacuum. Baseboards, dust and remove the scuff marks. I always feel a lot better when my baseboards are cleaned, but it's something you don't think about very often. And then after you do it, you're like, man, that's awesome. I should do that more. And bedroom pillows. So one thing I tell a lot of my sellers is you want it to kind of look like a hotel when people come in. You know, it's not a lot of clutter. Everything looks nice and clean. So bedroom pillows, you probably want to wash your pillows, wash your pillowcases, make sure it looks nice and clean, because sellers are going to see that, or buyers are going to see that.
Yeah. Also, your shower heads. Have you ever been in your shower and all of a sudden the water's spraying to the side?
Yeah.
That's, the lime gets built up in there, the calcium gets built up, and it looks crusty, and it could just cause some issues. So I would clean your shower heads. You could do that by soaking them in vinegar, putting a plastic bag over it and just filling it up with vinegar and letting it soak in there, bust up some of that lime. Or you could use CLR or some other lime and calcium remover. So clean your shower heads. Get those things looking sparkly.
And check in the kids' bathrooms too. It's something we don't always think about, and then you look and you're like, oh my gosh. Inside of appliances, those stoves, the dishwasher, the washer and dryer. We just had something we had to deal with, that the dryer stopped working, and we're like, what is causing that? So we pull it out and clean it, but there was actually a clog right at the end of on the outside. So now the dryer's working great. So yay for that.
Awesome. Well, that's all we have for you today for the Seller Sound Off segment. All right, moving right along with the Market Mayhem segment. So the market hasn't changed much, but we're going to give you guys some stats just so you know the most accurate, updated information. So in Belton, from $0 to $100,000, there's 1.81 months of supply. From $100,000 to $200,000, there's 0.61 months of supplies, and from $200,000 to $300,000, there is 2.4 months of supply. Now, remember, we always want to go over it. The months of supply means if nothing else came on the market, that's how long it would take for everything there to sell. So,
all right, Blue Springs, 0 to 1 month has 1 month supply. 1 to 200 has a half a month supply of homes, and 2 to 300 has 1.1 months supply of homes.
Awesome. Grain Valley is looking like $0 to $100,000 has 0 months of supply. So if you're looking in Grain Valley, I don't know what to tell you, but if you're trying to sell in Grain Valley right now is the time. 100,000 to 200,000, 0.18 months of supply. And 200,000 to 300,000, 2.91 months of supply.
So big difference once you go over 200,000. Okay, Grandview, 0 to 1 month is a 0.84 month supply. 1 to 200 is a 0.35 month supply, and 2 to 300,000 is 1.8 month supply in Grandview.
Awesome. Independence, 0 to 100,000, 1.2 months supply of inventory. 100,000 to 200,000, 0.7 months of supply. And 200,000 to 300,000, 2.74 months of supply.
Kansas City, 0 to 100,000 is 2.38 months supply. 100 to 200,000 is 0.92 months supply, and 200 to 300,000 is 1.33 months supply.
Yep, and that is all of the stats that we have for you today. So thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you again next week. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Mark Stancil here with Alicia Harwood, and we're from the Brasel Real Estate Group in Remax Heritage in Blue Springs. Alicia, what's the first thing that got you interested in real estate?
It was a long process for me. I had a friend who said, hey, let's go take the California Real Estate Bar, and I was living out in California, and so I went and took some classes at that time, didn't become an agent there, but when I moved out here, I would go to garage sales and find myself like looking at the houses and just admiring how beautiful they were. And so then I started kind of getting an interest, and I kind of just fell into it and got super lucky to get in with the people that I got in with, and I was in on a really great team. So
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think for me it was I was really interested in real estate investing, and I was listening to a real estate investing podcast, and they were saying get a job in the real estate field somewhere to learn about the industry, and that'll really help you. And then so I really got my license as kind of like an educational experience, and then I fell in love with the field. So
Yeah.
it's just really awesome. So,
It is. There's so many different dynamics to being in real estate.
yeah, really cool.
Yep. So what's your favorite part of being a real estate agent?
My favorite part of being a real estate agent is gonna have to be when you finally help somebody get something. I love helping all my clients, but when you help somebody that might have been on the edge of maybe not getting approved, or like they couldn't find anything, and you finally find them that house, just the look on their face when they're like, they finally see the house that they love, and they get to own it, and they get to walk into it and eventually pay it off, and it'll be really theirs as opposed to paying rent on something. Like, it's really their house, and just seeing the look on people's faces, and just, I had one recently. I helped a young family buy their first house, and they were just so excited and so happy, and it just made me happy for them.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I know that's always great. And like you said, sometimes people just walk in and you see their face light up and you're like, this is it. This is the one that they want. So let's do what we can to get it for them.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is I meet so many people, and I always have something to talk about with them. And so it's really cool that the friends that I've made in this business that I never, even expected to meet. And these are people that aren't even in the business, that I'm helping, and then we become friends through the process, and we stay in touch after closing. So it's a neat business.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the business itself, it presents a lot of unique challenges, and it can be really tough sometimes. Can you share one story that something happened that made you forget all the problems because you were so satisfied afterward because you helped somebody, or it was just a great experience?
Yeah. Probably one of the first deals I did, I had got a house under contract. It was a foreclosure, and the buyer decided not to purchase. It had a plumbing leak, and so he just decided to back out and not purchase the contract. And so I'm kind of bummed, and then I got a call from someone who said, hey, I want a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house in Grain Valley. And it was the exact house that my buyer had just canceled on. And so I was like, let's go. I have the perfect house for you. And so that was just such a cool moment that these people, because one thing fell through and it just fell into my hand, that these other people, I had the perfect house and we were ready to go. And so they bought it. And that was in 2011 or earlier, actually. I think it was 2009, and they still live there. So that was really awesome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know one time for me, there's this lady from my church, and she is the sweetest lady, and she's a single mom, and her kids are the best kids, and she does a great job by herself and things like that. And she was looking for a house for a long time, and it had to meet specific requirements, and be able to fit all 3 of her kids and her, and just all this. And she was looking for a long time, and things weren't really working out, and we finally got her the right house, and it was just like, just helping her in that situation was like game changer for me. It's like, man, if I could do that one time a year, it's always worth it. All the hard parts are worth it when you get to really help somebody like that. Yeah.
I know one thing because the values have been rising so much. What's really cool now is the houses that we sold in like 2012, 2013, these people are selling and they're walking away with $20,000 and upwards of to $50,000, and that makes me feel really good too. Like, awesome, we got them a great house at a great price, and now they have this nest egg to either get to their new house, their dream house, or just pay off school loans, invest it. So I kind of take some pride in that too. That's really cool. Yeah, it really helps with the people like with the VA loan, because they don't put any money down. So the only worry I have about it is, they're not going to have any equity right away. But lately we've been able to help people get these houses and instantly have equity the next year because the house is appreciating 3-5%, more sometimes. So I really like that, because we're really, the thing about real estate is, because I've done other sales jobs and they're not fulfilling to me because I don't always believe in the product. But in real estate, the product is something that typically will go up in value over time, so you can believe in that. But the real product that you're selling is yourself. So you really get to believe in what you're doing, because if you're a high quality person and you take
pride in becoming a better person every day, then you can definitely believe in the product. And it's just really cool to be in a field where you get to sell yourself as the product.
Yeah. And home ownership, part of the American dream.
Yep. It's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Yep.
Yeah, at this time.
Awesome. Well, that's all that's my last question for you. Anything else to close?
Just it's a great time to be a buyer or seller. It's a little tough for buyers, but property values are still going up at this time and interest rates are still pretty low. So just reach out if you need any help.
Yep. Make sure you're hiring the right agents. Anybody, it's kind of challenging to get your real estate license, but a lot of people can get it. It's not like it's the hardest thing in the world. But when you're a buyer, there's a lot of things that go into putting in an offer that makes it appealing to get accepted. And if you have somebody that doesn't really know their stuff, then it could be a little difficult. So make sure that you're looking for, agents with a little bit of experience, maybe with a bigger company backing them, that they can kind of have a support system, and just make sure you're making a wise decision when you choose your agents.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Brasel Real Estate Broadcast with the Brasel Real Estate Groups at RE/MAX Heritage. If you like our show and would like to keep up with our upcoming episodes, please like our Facebook page, the Brasel Real Estate Group, where we go live every Wednesday. Or you can find us on YouTube at the Brasel Real Estate Group page. To find out more about our real estate services, you can find us at www.braselrealestategroup.com or contact us at 816-897-5151. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a great day. Our friends at Homestead Inspection Company have been serving the Kansas City metro area for over 27 years. Homestead's inspectors can help you take control of a real estate transaction by helping you identify potential problems, survey the property overall condition, consider possible repairs and upgrades, help discover environmental hazards, take measure of your investment decision, and experience confidence and peace of mind during negotiations. Homestead covers inspections for seller pre-inspections, buyer home inspections, multifamily, and commercial property inspections. Contact Homestead today at www.homestead-inspection.com or 816-833-1090 for all your inspection needs. If you're in the market to find a home, refinance your existing home, or thinking about a reverse mortgage, contact Deb Brasel at Motto Mortgage Heritage. Deb's an award-winning mortgage broker who's been in the mortgage business for almost 20 years. Contact Deb today to get pre-approved at 816-678-9283. Deb Brasel is a licensed mortgage broker, NMLS number 299821. Motto Mortgage Heritage Office can be located at 1900 Northwest South Outer Road, Suite 209, Blue Springs, Missouri, 64015. Office NMLS number 1720438. Each office is independently owned, operated, and licensed.